Hi, my name is Natalia Willette, and I'm a real estate attorney here in the state of Florida. And today is episode 3 of rental property investing. And today we're going to talk about, how do you analyze a property for purpose of it being a good or bad investment property for rental purposes? Well, you need to think about your cash flow, right? No cash, no deal. So in essence, there's different rules of thumbs that investors use when they go out there to buy a purchase property that's going to be for rentals. Some use the 2% rule, so that means whatever you're making monthly rent, in terms of what's coming in as the rent, is going to be at least 2% of what your purchase price is. Make it real easy. $100,000 property, you'd have to bring in $2,000 a month. That's unrealistic, though. Generally, if you're buying a $100,000 property, you're going to be lucky if you make $1,200 a month in rent. So you got to use different numbers. What are you going to use to calculate whether this is a good investment or not? So number one, you have to figure out how much are you going into this property. So you're buying it for $75,000, you're putting in $25,000 to repair, etc., make it someplace livable, habitable, so you know that you're $25,000 out of pocket, and let's say the rest you manage to get a loan on. Well, you got to calculate your mortgage. But mortgage isn't the only cost that you're going to have. You're going to have taxes, you're going to have insurance, you're going to have repair costs. You're going to need to take some money aside, usually 5 to 10%, to cover vacancy, and that's your rental unit's not going to be fully rented all year long. There's going to be periods of vacancy, there's going to be periods of delinquency, and you're also going to need to think about capital investments. So capital investments are the big expenses that come up with maintaining a particular piece of property. For example, a roof, the AC, a water heater, windows. Those would be what you'd consider capital investments. And then some of the time you might be responsible for covering the water bill of your tenants. So when you are doing the numbers, you need to see, okay, what's the market rent for the area? And for that, you need to go ahead, make sure that you do your research, ask other landlords in the area, see what some places are listing for as rental properties, see what they're listing for on Craigslist. Look in different places, ask around, don't be afraid to ask. And then from there, you're going to say, okay, less the mortgage payment, less taxes, 1/12 of taxes, less 1/12 of insurance, less at least 5% set aside for vacancy, another 5 or so set aside for capital improvements, another 5% or so set aside for repairs, and you're going to end up with a much more realistic number of what's going to be coming in monthly for that. Once you have that number, multiply it by 12. That over how much you put in out of your own money is really the return on the investment. And if you're making less return on investment on that particular property than you would be by just leaving it alone in the market, then you know that's not a good investment. So those are some of the key figures that you need to think about when calculating and analyzing, is this a good rental property for me? Good luck out there, investors.